YouTube creators and subscribers, I just wanted to thank you all for tuning into my video. Today we're going to be going through the deep web, episode 24. So let's begin. Before we kick off this episode, we're going to go ahead and read the following disclaimer. The following video contains content that may be illegal in your residence. We are not responsible for your actions on the deep web and will not be held liable for your actions on the deep web. So let's begin. As always, we start at not evil, and we have the quote from Darth Vader. It says, "Be careful not to choke out your own convictions." So let's go to the first website on the deep web that we found this week. It's called Luminosity, and it looks like it has a little bit of Illuminati symbolism. So, what does it contain, and what is it all about? The brightest ideas are ignited by the most illuminated minds. Our forefathers defeated the darkness and instated the great bedrock of law, honesty, truth, justice. Honesty is an ideal long lost. It fled to the shadows, out of the boundaries of social change. Truth has always backed honesty. With no honesty, there could be no truth. Justice is there now to be found when the daylight of truth is hidden by shrouds. We must and we shall return to the light, but first we must accept the truth. Illumination lights the path to the future, free of unknown obstacles. Do they have a form? Let's see if the form is legitimate. Seems like some kind of deep web cult, and as you can see, this actual form is not active. Unfortunately, it looks like they run a server on NGINX 1.4.6 on Ubuntu, and it's currently not active. So this would be a website about the Illuminati and how it is trying to make others join its cause through conviction of the truth, honesty, and justice. And as we can see, looking at the source code, there's nothing that's hidden or that's commented out. This would be the main photograph that they have on the page. And then they have another photograph right here of the flame. Basically, that is it. I think what we'll go ahead and do is back out and go to the next website. Now this one, if we refresh, is a website that I want you guys to crack. You could see the onion link right here. It's Zydocs VR77Y7IFVS.onion, and it requires a username and password to get into the website. It also looks like this site is a utilization of some kind of portal, and maybe this is all in Spanish. De Pictora something, so it could be bad, it could be good, but as we use username and password, there's no way to get into the server. And once a person tries to log into a server without the proper credentials, there will be an IP that is marked. Essentially, they keep track of non-authorized access of data and information. So that is basically it for this website. I thought it was interesting. I wanted people that are viewing this future video to be able to crack this code and to get into this website. I'm going to go ahead and back out and go to the next one. Now the next one is Lies and Wonderland. And as we look at the first photograph and how it's designed, it's a very plain hypertext kind of website, but we have a photograph of a type of Buddha or a Kali, which basically is the dancer of death that wears thousands of skulls of men around her neck, the great slayer of all sorts of beings, including humans. So Kali was an ancient Hindu goddess that would end up having to kill humanity because of their evil wickedness. So we have all these different links right here, and then the information about the website. So it says, yet another hypergraphic information whore site. MooFlex is learning how to control you. You can subscribe to the universal RSS feed for all sites, or go to each site for the individual feeds. There is no Twitter. So they have the sites and then some other things. And it says right here, as if you cared about signal to noise. I know you watch cats jump into boxes all day like the rest of us. Go to their first link. It's called Moleflex Mindstream. Memetic hazards and brainwashing. I have also a practice active log. So this is basically about brainwashing the humanity or brainwashing specific people into committing certain crimes that basically the brainwasher get away with. So it says, the last base of series of PMs I exchanged with someone on LW asking me why I thought the Pashana isn't what most people are looking for, might be actively dangerous. I cleaned it up a bit and reposted it here. Where specifically does it talk about the Vip Ashanana being set up to break people down? This sounds familiar, interesting. Also, I usually am disappointed by the clarification of presentation in most meditation books. It seems that if you ask questions that are too hard, they just might say the map is not the territory, or some koan, or expect that to suffice. I prefer a sort of LW type detailed analysis that taboos words and tries to be precise and clear. Are there any other works that you know and that are like that? Daniel Ingram calls the mushroom culture, keep 'em in the dark, feed 'em the shit. Buddhists have a pretty bad track record of being open and honest about their own practice. I think there are basically 3 reasons. Hardcore practice doesn't sell. Most people seeking meditation, at least in Western context, want easy psychotherapy, not enlightenment. If you go all out, you lose most of your paying customers. Teachers in the Asian countries tend to be much more hardcore, or so I heard. I've never actually been used to seeing teacher, only read their stuff. Real Buddhism isn't nice. Even if you try to take meditation seriously, as Goekya organization does, their courses are pretty good and free. You can't actually do what Buddhists have been doing for centuries. For example, try this and see how many students are willing to listen. Furthermore, as if the monk were to see a corpse cast away in a carnal ground, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days dead, bloated, livid, festering, he applies it to this very body. This body too, such is nature, such is the future, and it's such unavoidable fate. Or again, as if he were to see a corpse cast away in the carnal ground, picked up by crows, vultures, hawks, by dogs, hyenas, various other creatures, a skeleton smeared with fresh flesh and blood, connected with tendons, decomposed into powder. He applies it to this very body. This body too, such is the nature, such is its future, such is its unavoidable fate. His mindfulness is established, and he lives detached, and clings to nothing in the world. Yet corpse meditation, think of one's own body as a rotting corpse, ideally using a fresh corpse for comparison, is an absolute core practice in Buddhism. The Satipatthana Sutta, or the Visuddhimagga, 2 foundational texts, spend whole chapters discussing them and similar practices. There are Buddhist traditions that do not have such negative values, or would be much nicer. But the historical reason they never became very influential outside of Tibet, as David Chapman talks about a lot. So this website is pretty interesting. It speaks about the Buddhism culture. Let's go deeper into it. Most teachers have no idea what they are talking about. Initially, Western teachers in the 60s and 70s didn't talk about enlightenment because they didn't want to scare away their audience. But if they don't talk, then idiots are indistinguishable from literal teachers. And if the audience only wants useless psychotherapy anyway, well, then you get the current situation. Zen is also partially responsible here. They have a very pragmatic attitude, or I don't care about the map or territory, just practice, which means Zen practice has much less bullshit in it. But it's also unnecessarily hard to understand, and no one can effectively contradict you if you're doing it wrong. Anyways, back to Vipshanana. Bear in mind that the core technique, pay attention to every sensation and detach from it, is deceptively simple and can be taught even without knowing what it is for. So it ends up a lot in New Age and mindfulness bullshit. But its real purpose is the destruction of self and all desires. It's pretty good at that if you keep it up, otherwise you get stuck in a mental hell. But that's not what most people want. They like their identity and goals in life, so it fucks them up. This purpose is clear for the history of Vipshanana. Basically, it was reinvented in the 20th century and based on old texts of the Vishnu-Maga. Good book, by the way, very detailed and explicit, but pretty dense and could be an extensive commentary. So essentially, this whole thing just talks about mind states of Buddhism, and there has a part 2, reading Latin. That's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and check that out really quick. Reading in Latin. So this talks about the series of learning Latin language. What does this say? So we go straight forward to the things. We read text as if you are as lazy as I am, and this is the internet, so I know you are. You don't want to do an Anunnaki session one at a time. Reading sessions at another time. You can barely do one thing. You never do two things, let alone keep them synchronized. So just move the text into the Enki. Meet the sentence card. So what is this? Fas ilis aliquim udentis hospites at fuius na ium celieremus neque Iulis natietis impetum trabis, said to have been the fastest ships. Gosh, that's a long freaking sentence. Let's see if we could, what is it? You could just show answer. Doesn't show answer. So this basically teaches a person how to speak Latin, which is pretty interesting. That's basically a dead language. What we're going to do is back out and go to the next website. This website is based on hosting various musical servers. It looks like a radio station named Radio Job Iwan. Well, I might have to flick on the actual Flash, Java Flash, to be able to play the music. Let's see what will happen when we click on the link. Go ahead and move the link over here. We'll activate the script, and then it's time to go. So it is a radio station, but as you can see, it buffers very slowly. Go ahead and refresh it just to make sure that the damn thing doesn't play. There we go. And then it freezes after 10 seconds. The reason why it freezes after 10 seconds is because basically we're running on Tor and various networks through a VPN. So it would make sense that that wouldn't be able to run too far or get too far without having a proper network. So that's basically it. I thought it was a pretty interesting website, how they could host an actual web series on the deep web. But then again, that's what it is. It says one current listener, which was probably me. but the song was different. It wasn't Deep Purple, that's for sure. I think what we'll do is go ahead and go to the next website. And yeah, the song that was playing was Bob Marley at the Wellers, Stir It Up. So this is a hidden poll, and it asks you one basic simple question. Did you participate in the hackathon? And what we're going to go ahead and answer is say yes. And hopefully it brings us to a positive website or a positive link. Did you participate in the hackathon? I voted yes. It's only 0.3, so we are second behind the no. I made some other excuse. Well, basically that's it. It's just a website, a very basic website about if you went to hackathon on the deep web. So what we will do now is go to the most notorious part of the deep web series, the deep web video of the week. So let's go. As you can see, there's a bunch of different characters that are in English, I suppose, but maybe written in a different language. And it says, can you solve? And then it has the Phoenix browser, which was a browser that I was experiencing, or I heard about in a couple other episodes on the deep web. And when we reviewed the website, it talked about downloading a browser that allows you to go deeper on the deep web. But unfortunately, I never downloaded it. But it looks like somebody did. And so, I'm going to play this video. So as you can see, there's a .clause or .clos, which is a different function of the deep web. And as you can see, the browser is a lot different too as well. It says, welcome to the closed net. It's not just easy to get here. You've been dreaming about it for a very long time, but if you are reached somehow, something. Anyways, here's the archive. And then it says, what is it? Caravan Phoenix. As you can see, that's basically it. So, that program might be real. If anybody gets access to it, please let me know in the comments. And then we'll be able to do an investigation about it. So, let's back out and go to the next one. Now this deep web website is about leaving some kind of important information behind on the board. It says here you can anonymously leave feedback. Everything you submit will simply arrive as an email in my mailbox without any personal metadata unless explicitly provided by you. This website is also available as a hidden service just in case you don't want to have your identity revealed. Make sure you definitely stay anonymous by comparing the following link. Feel free to give me shit on how it sounds and whether everything is spelled correctly, but please make sure it is as constructive as possible. So we'll just type up something really quick. And it says, to help prevent spam, please type beer in the following box. Go ahead and type beer in the following box. And that's it. Thanks a lot for your feedback. It's just sent via email. So it's sent to him via email, and if he owns the site, good stuff. We're working on all that programming and all the great information that you put on the deep web. So let's back out of this website and go to the next one. Now the next one was going to be a great example as to what a website looks when it's taken over by either the German government or American government. Now I've been on the deep web for about 3 to 4 years researching websites, and I've never seen an actual FBI logo on a seized website, usually from hacking purposes or selling drugs or hitman services, which are on the deep web. I just don't choose to show it on these series because, first of all, I don't want to get involved with any hitmen dealing with guns and drugs and all that. I don't want to get involved with the drugs, and I don't want to be a snitch. Essentially, I'm not part of, being whatever they do is their problem. It's their business. It's not mine, essentially. But the German government took over this website probably about, I don't know, technology. I found it in the technology area or a simple area, and it says Elysium. And Elysium, if I'm not to be mistaken, is the movie about elites living in a sky spaceship, and then all the rest of the slaves or humans or pawns live on Earth. But yeah, it looks like the platform and the criminal content has been seized by the Federal Criminal Police Office, BKA, of Germany, which is the Bundeskriminalität. I don't know if I said that right, but it's the German police. And on behalf of the Attorney General's office in Frankfurt am Main. So yeah, if you guys ever browse the deep web when you're going on hacking websites or websites based on potential illegal illicit things that you guys shouldn't be on, you would see something like this. And yeah, that's basically it. What we will do is go to the next website. Now, the next website is about Russians and how they're hosting a video platform on the dark dot video onion. And oh, Jesus Christ, that's evil. So they have a bunch of different videos about their Russian platform, Russian vocalists, Russian singers, and Russian performers. Now the videos, I don't know, we could click on them because they could contain illegal content. It could be a front, and then also we have to disable the JavaScript. But as you can see, you saw the guy with the microphone. It looks like maybe a performance, and then some calculator stuff and things of that nature. So what we will do is go ahead and go back out and go to the next website. The next website is called Crypto Storms Community Forum, and it looks like it's all about Bitcoin mining and how to make money on the deep web using Bitcoin mining processes. So it says join. They have a bunch of links right here. Let's see if we could find one to teach us how to Bitcoin mine certain currencies. It says general chat, independent currencies, resell tokens, no cost crypto storm, network access, and join crypto network access token available. So let's see, let's go to suggestions, general chat, and industry news. Alright, so it's loading still. So it says crypto VPN security news. So let's see. Crypto free. We could get free crypto coins. That would be pretty cool. Let's see if that's a real legitimate thing. I just wanted to say thank you for the devs for Crypto Storm. Good job. I will be buying tokens in the near future. I wanted to start off with crypto free to get my Linux box up and running. I was able to get it working without much hair pulling and ranting. I used the method that is used in getting live Linux to run VPN Gate out of Japan. It's easier and I was used to doing it that way. Is there more than one crypto free server? I was hoping for a few servers. So it talks about crypto mining. Essentially, there's only 2 comments in this part of the post, but it looks like Crypto Free is a program that might run on Linux that allows you to Bitmine for free. Let's see if that's legitimate. Alright, and let's go to another post on the crypto website too as well. Come on guys, get your shit together. Let's go and check out that. Alright, I was looking to use a VPN service, and you guys definitely seem the coolest. Knowledgeable on the tech, open source, nice philosophy, no bullshit. So I researched a little more, spink stuff and funny. But everything is just so convoluted and messy. Resellers list is only a subform. Resellerscryptostorm.org just redirects you to the subform and gives invalid HTTPS certification errors. Resellers that don't exist are still sticky in the list. Subdomains for individual resellers don't work, give HTTPS certification error. Are there any resellers left? You said it, and Torrent Freak that answers that you don't have. Cooperate with the identity and entity, but if not, then how does the money flow? How are you people on the project getting paid? Are there contracts? Is it based purely on trust? Or do you report it to taxes? What do people pay? Just a private person? Who then distributes it on links on the front? Customstorm.org also don't work, like the bootstrap.customstorm and CryptoStorm, which is supposed to be a link to the info about the company being a decentralized organization with roots in Iceland and branches worldwide. Most financials via Quebec, proudly independent and private. It just links to the forum, also with HTTPS error. So the front page talks about the warrant carnies, but there's no links, and I don't find any Google either. Where are they to be found? Are they not of any importance? What does it mean if they're not? No clear guide on to install for each platform, just linking some guides posted 3 years ago by an anonymous guy with a request for feedback. So this guy's ranting about how they're probably not legitimate. Let's go ahead and go to some of the links, or go to some of the information here. It says, yeah, I did read about the rant about how VPN providers should be gritty, and I agree, but this is not that. This is just to suggest a total lack of care in informing your users and potentially users, who make you wonder, how much do you care about the more fundamental aspects of keeping your users secure? So I think this website is all about the creation of bitcoins and how to crypto mine, and it could be pretty valid and useful in certain situations where you're trying to get educated on how to mine bitcoins. But then again, usually you could get more information that's actually valid on the internet or on Amazon. So essentially that is it. We're going to go ahead and back out and go to the next website. Now this next website is Thomas Paine's Common Sense. This is an example page of Tor's rendezvous point system. Or you can read the Federalist's papers, which also organized previously anonymously. So this is about Thomas Paine, Common Sense. Introduction. 1776. Perhaps the sentiments contained in the following pages are not yet sufficiently fashionable to procure them general favor. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives a superficial appearance of being right, and raises as its first a formidable outcry in defense of custom. But tumult soon subsides. Time makes more converts than reason, as a long and violent abuse of power is generally the means of calling the right of in question, and a means to which might have never been thought of, and not the sufferers have been aggravated by the increase. As the King of England hath undertake in his own right to support the parliament in which he calls theirs, as the good people of the country are grievously oppressed by the combination. They have undoubtedly privileged to inquire into the pretensions of both, and equally to reject the usurpations of either. In the following sheets the author hath studiously avoided everything which is personal among themselves. Alright, so of the origin and design of government in general, with concise remarks of the English constitutions. So this is about a gentleman that wrote papers, I do believe, about the King of England and how he's suppressing supposed English followers and English people that live under the king's domain. And essentially they were going through some tumultuous times, so they moved out, they left England, they took ships out of England and out of the kingdom of England, and they went to find a new country called America, or the United States of America. And they did truly break away from the monarch, from the kingship and the queenship of the kingdom. But that was the choice of the American people. We have one chat here. Hello, Balin. Hello. Alright, so let's go ahead and read the information about Thomas Paine Common Sense, 1776. The origin and design of government. Actually, let's skip on to the monarch. Mankind being originally equals in order of creation, the equality could only be destroyed by some subsequent circumstance. The distinctions of rich and poor may in great measure be accounted for, and that without having recourse to the harsh, ill-sounding name of oppression and avarice. Oppression is often the consequence, but seldom, and never by the means of riches, though it will preserve a man of being necessitatiously poor. It generally makes him too timorous to be wealthy. God, these words are very ancient in English. I haven't even freaking studied these words. But there is another and greater distinction for which no truly natural or religious reason can be assigned, and that is to distinguish men into kings and subjects. Male and female are the distinctions of the nature, good and bad, the distinctions of heaven, and how a race of men became into the world so exalted above the rest, and distinguished like some new species, is worth inquiring into, whether they are the means of happiness or a misery to mankind. In the earlier ages of the world, according to the scripture chronology, there were no kings in Israel, the consequence of which there were no wars. Is it pride of kings which throw mankind into confusion? Holland without a king hath enjoyed more peace for the last century than any other monarchical government in Europe. Antiquity favors the same remark, for a quiet and rural lives, for the patriarchs hath a happy something in them, which vanishes away when we come to the history of the Jewish royalty. Governments by kings. So this talks a lot about the humans and how humans want to compare themselves to kings and how they want to be like kings. But unfortunately, for certain countries, there could only be one king or there could only be one queen. And the people need to live under a monarch in certain situations, so that way they're kept on a straight and narrow. That's why the English people left England and created America. Essentially, that is it. We're going to go ahead and back out and end this Deep Web series with the Deep Web video of the week. And this Deep Web video of the week was focusing on a secret program that allows you to get deeper into the Deep Web, places that have never been seen before. So this is a browser that supposedly is very different from the .onions on the deep web. But that is it. Very secretive secret society that is focused on Probably a death cult. Sacrificing humanity and humans. It's a very, very interesting website. So essentially that is it. We're going to go ahead and end this deep web series. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And you have a good afternoon or evening.